So let me get this straight. Democrats refuse to stand up when Trump asks, "Do you support Americans over illegal aliens?" They refuse to stand up when Irina Zarutsky's mother was literally crying when Trump acknowledged that her daughter got murdered. They refused to stand up for the World War II veterans receiving the Medal of Honor.
What you gotta understand at the end of the day, when you put your political views over for standing what is right, and there is a mother weeping the loss of her child who was brutally taken there, overtrained by a mob standing over her, and the Republicans stand up and they're praising and showing love and praying to God for this woman, and the Democrats just sit there like dummies. Or when the men's USA hockey team comes in, just celebrating with all of us, bringing down their gold medals, and the Republicans all standing up, clapping, celebrating, yelling USA, 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 and the leaders of the Democratic Party just sit there like they're imbeciles.
Moment of the night was Democrats refusing to stand to affirm their allegiance to American citizens over illegal immigrants. If you didn't believe what was being told to you all, now you know. If you watched the State of the Union address, you have seen in 4K that Democrats want nothing to do with American citizens. They want everything to do with illegal immigrants because illegal immigrants are the most important voting base.
So what's making me make this video about the State of the Union last night is the reactions, not from Republicans, not from anybody else, but other than Democrat voters who had very eye-opening testimonies last night, and including people that I know personally were making videos. They were even saying things like, I can't believe that in New York City, you have to show 2 forms of ID, but not to vote. I mean, there was a lot of questions that were raised, which lets you know that what Trump did was a glance back at that 2023-2024 campaign version, the untouchable version of Trump. Now, we know that the Democrats had their semantics. We know exactly what the approval ratings are for Trump right now. We know what the Democrats are likely to do in the midterm statistically and throughout the betting markets. It looks like they're projected to win. But last night, he disrupted a lot of the momentum for the Democrats. Now, let's actually look. So as I'm looking through this, I'm seeing people talking about, I'm a Democrat, but I'm so ashamed that they did not stand up for a mother who lost her daughter. All they had to do was show a sigh of respect and stand up. Democrats should be ashamed of themselves. Somebody said I'm a Democrat, but this is unusually eye-opening. A lot of people that don't even like Trump watched the whole speech and thought, man, what is going on? A lot of the people that I'm watching got a lot of explaining to do, which brings me to the numbers. Numbers last night were actually wild because, of course, you had Rashida Tlaib, you had Ilhan Omar getting up, going crazy, leaving, yelling at Trump. A lot of people were yelling at Trump. And so we got to talk about these numbers that have now come back. We got to talk about the Democrats panicking over the numbers because that Trump speech, when he mentioned that he would use the tariff revenue, right, to get rid of the income tax and go back to the way the system used to be, where tariff money would basically replace income tax, where Americans don't get taxed anymore. That was a huge deal. So the reaction was 63%, plus 27 from the last one, versus the negative. People, and this is a CNN poll, by the way, of people literally voting and saying that Trump's State of the Union was more positive, and it highlighted more of the Democrats' failures, and it reminded people why they sided with Trump because of their antics. Now, we know that just last night, the Democrats decided to do their own People's Union, and that failed miserably.
I'm fresh out of an ICE prison in Minneapolis. I've been arrested 3 times by ICE over absurdity, over us being ourselves, over me singing songs like, "Hey, Mr. Tangerine Man, get rid of brown people for me. I'm Aryan white. There ain't no place I'm going to." And then all of a sudden, he's not ready for primetime player ICE agents with 2 weeks of training come after me.
So hell hath frozen over. CBS admits Democrats made themselves look like they hated America last night. Take a look.
We have Major here at the table. I want to bring the conversation back here to our group watching along. Major, you've seen a lot of these, I think, more than any of us. What stood out to you?
Well, look, before the speech, many Republicans said one of the priorities for the president was to make sure Americans after this speech had a sense that the opposition party was off the rails, was crazy, their terminology, not mine. Many of the contrasts the president articulated tonight were to drive that message forward. That not only do I disagree with the opposition party sitting before me in Congress, but I disagree with them so strongly and they with me so much that they can't even applaud basic common sense thing. And that line that you mentioned that he added to the speech, whether it was ad-libbed or not, the first obligation, American citizens versus illegal aliens, was meant to create a visual moment of perpetual contrast.
We have
Man, so you have CBS roasting Democrats for not being able to stand up. And again, this is a testament to the field, right? When we speak about, right, the field that the Democrats want to step on, like Gavin Newsom, AOC, they want to step into the field that Trump, he owns the Democrats when it comes to these moments. He just does. He does it better. And there's a lot of people that don't like Trump that would agree that when it comes to these big moments, State of the Union speeches, roasting, trolling, Trump is just way better at Democrats than they are. So he basically cornered them to show the American people. Trump looked like vintage Trump, 2016, 2023, 2024, President Trump. Let's actually go here to the reactions of the American people, right? To the reactions of the American people. Watch this.
I want you to listen to this moment of the State of the Union.
Reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
It's common sense. American citizens first. Look at this. Democrats sitting down, putting American citizens last. Thank you, Mr. President, for calling them out. They sit on their asses. They sit on their asses. What a disgrace.
So you have, right? Everybody has a different opinion. Everybody is pointing this out. I got way more videos to show you when it comes to this, but let me ask you guys this question. Imagine you are a legal immigrant and you went through the process that took you years, maybe decades, to become an actual U.S. citizen. And when you see something like this, you think to yourself, man, did I really go through that process for absolutely no reason to become a citizen of this country, to love this country, to then realize that, yo, these Democrats, they rather praise the people that actually don't do or go through the process the way I went through the process. Because I know there's a lot of immigrants that watch my show. They watch me. And they migrated, their parents migrated, they became citizens. They're very proud of that. But to see Democrats have that reaction was kind of heartbreaking to a lot of immigrants, man. Let's actually take another look at another American. Remember this moment, he says.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Come on, they all got to stand. They all got to stand. There's no way they're that stupid. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Keep the chant going. These idiots. Folks, we might have a chance in 2026. They have yet to learn. You cannot refuse to say that you support American citizens over illegals. You represent we the people, the American citizens. This right here gives us a shot to win big in 2026.
And the reason why he's bringing that up is because I told you guys the Democrats are projected to be the winners. But when you see stuff like this, you know, whoever's in office, whatever party's in office, usually the opposite party regains the House. And is that actually going to happen? Here's Abby Phillips on CNN admitting something that I didn't think she would admit. Take a look.
You know,
let me make sure I put this on the big screen here. Okay.
I thought President Trump actually delivered a higher energy speech than I think even his speech last year. He was much more engaged, and I think part of that was because they had planned this speech to be an interactive experience between him and the audience. There were things for him to announce, surprises. There were big moments, emotional moments, and that helps him tremendously. I thought President Trump actually delivered a high.
So there you have it. You got CNN admitting what the obvious was here. The obvious win. Trump called out Democrats for insider trading. I mean, he was calling everybody out. Here we go. Here's the actual 64% of watchers say that President Trump's policy will move the country in the right direction. Take a look.
Among speech watchers tonight, 64% say his policies will move the U.S. in the right direction. And look at the growth President Trump made over the speech. So pre-speech, it was 54% of speech watchers said his policies will move the U.S. in the right direction. After the speech, that number goes up 10 percentage points. So Donald Trump made some progress with people watching the speech from their pre-speech expectations to what they saw in the speech itself. And that 64% number, that's pretty much in range across all of his State of the Union addresses. In his first term, last year, the joint session, that's about what we've seen. Is roughly 2/3 have walked away from his speeches thinking he's going to move it in the right direction.
So a lot of red meat for the base.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. If you're a Republican on the ballot in 2026, I think you leave this speech being as happy as you could possibly be that he sort of stuck to the script on the economy. He gave red meat to the base on immigration, and they can leave the hall tonight and sort of take that out on the campaign trail.
So there you have it, right? Trump has a 39% approval rating. Again, Democrats, I'm not a Democrat, but I can tell you they've done a heck of a job making people, fear, panic, and think that he's doing a horrible job. Though that's the driving force for them to take back the House. They've done a good job at that. They pretty much convinced a lot of people to basically say we made a mistake voting for Trump. A lot of people have said that. There's a lot of people that have not said that. There is a lot, but I would think a lot more people do not regret voting for Trump. Obviously, we saw them utilize immigration, utilize all these things in their benefit. But what Trump did is he kind of turned it around for himself and the party. I told you guys, the Republican has been a dead party for a long time. Trump revived that party by running as a Republican, in my opinion. Some people have never been Republican their entire lives watching this. So they know what I mean when I say these things. So again, millions of Democrats and their voters saw this moment. They saw this moment right here. And the fact that Democrats did not stand up for this woman who lost her daughter, Irina Sarutska, right? Sobbing mother. This was very eye-opening and evil for Democrats.
He slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zaretsky, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina. How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there.
So again, how do you not stand, says Trump. Now, again, I can show you many different clips from this State of the Union speech address, and I can show you, and I can show you a million clips about, Democrats, talking about their speech and how, it changed their mind or how they look at America just a lot different. They finally heard Trump talk without watching clips of him talking on a channel or on MSNBC. They actually got the chance to hear Trump talk for the first time, or probably since before the election in 2024. So you got to understand the Democrats, they got it right now. They got the media, man. They got the media, not only the media, but they got, they don't a lot of people who hate Trump never actually heard him talk or heard him speak at all. They got to hear him speak, and a lot of them had a different reaction than they normally would. Then you have other people that say, "Hey, he effed up the Epstein files. He's a pedo. He's this. He's that, and the third." So it's a lot. It's a lot of indifference of opinions, definitely with people I know specifically. But when it comes to this specific moment, this specific speech, I think this is going to do a lot of damage heading into the midterms. I think a lot of people, once again, who don't normally listen to Trump talk, gave him a chance. This was aired everywhere. And, unfortunately for Democrats, their moment was literally on stage clowning and goofing off. So unfortunately for them, I think they hold this L last night. And we'll see what this does for the Democrat Party. I'll keep you guys updated on what you guys think about this. Are you a Democrat? Are you not? How will you be voting in the midterms?